The world felt off. Colours seemed dull, sounds were muffled. Something was wrong. He couldn't quite place his finger on it. He felt like he was living in a dream, a never-ending, hazy dream. He looked around his seemingly perfect life. The wife, the kids, the house. It was everything he was told he should want. But it felt hollow, empty. Something was missing. A piece of the puzzle, a piece of himself. He felt it deep inside, an emptiness that gnawed at his soul. "Listen," a voice whispered. Ancient, weathered, yet strangely comforting. "Open your eyes, young one." He spun around. No one, just the wind rustling through the leaves. But the voice, he could feel it resonating in his bones. "They have lied to you," the voice continued, closer now, sending chills down his spine. "Your life, a carefully constructed lie." His heart pounded in his chest. Who was this? What did they know? His hands trembled as he opened the old dusty chest. Memories flashed before his eyes. His childhood, or so he thought. Inside, nestled among faded photographs and yellowed letters, lay an envelope, addressed to him, in his mother's handwriting. But his mother was... His breath caught in his throat. He knew this handwriting. He hadn't seen it since he was a child, before everything changed. His fingers traced the faded ink. This letter held the key to his past, the key to himself. He devoured the letter, each word a hammer blow to his carefully constructed reality. His life a lie, his memories implanted, his very identity stolen. The letter spoke of a woman, his real mother, alive, waiting, a beacon of truth in the sea of deception he had been drowning in. His heart ached. He clung to the letter, the words blurring through his tears. A glimmer of hope pierced through the darkness that had enveloped him. He had to find her. He had to know. He had to reclaim his life. Section 5. Seeking Answers. His journey began with a name, a single name scrawled on the back of a faded photograph, a name that echoed in the deepest recesses of his soul. The old man's voice returned, guiding him, urging him forward. "She holds the answers you seek, young one. Do not lose faith." He followed the whispers, each step taking him closer to the truth, to his past, to himself. His determination solidified with every passing mile. He would find her. He would uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Section 6. Journey into the Past. He arrived at the address scrawled on the back of the photograph, a quaint cottage surrounded by blooming wildflowers. It felt familiar, safe. He knocked on the door, his heart pounding in his chest. A woman answered. Her eyes, filled with a lifetime of unspoken pain, widened in recognition. "My son," she breathed, her voice trembling. He stepped into her embrace, the warmth of her touch melting years of pain and confusion. He was home. Section 7. Facing the Truth. Days turned into weeks as he pieced together the shattered fragments of his past. Each photograph, each piece of paper, every journal entry was a clue, a piece of the puzzle that was his life. He spent countless hours lost in thought, trying to make sense of the chaos that had once been his reality. The lies, the betrayal, the manipulation, they were like a dark cloud that hung over him, suffocating him, making it hard to breathe. He felt the weight of every deceit, every falsehood that had been fed to him over the years. It was a heavy burden to bear, one that seemed almost impossible to lift. It was a truth almost too painful to bear. The realization that his life had been built on a foundation of lies was a crushing blow. He felt a deep sense of loss, a mourning for the life he thought he had, the people he thought he knew. It was a grief that cut deep, leaving scars that would never fully heal. His real mother, a woman of strength and resilience, had fought to protect him. She had faced unimaginable challenges, yet she stood tall, unwavering in her love and determination. She was his rock, his anchor in the storm. Her strength gave him the courage to face the truth, to confront the darkness that had overshadowed his life, to shield him from the darkness that had consumed his life. She had done everything in her power to keep him safe, to protect him from the harsh realities of their world. Her love was a shield, a barrier that kept the darkness at bay. It was her love that gave him the strength to keep going, to keep fighting. He learned of his true father, a man of honor and integrity who had been silenced before he could reveal the truth. His father was a hero, a man who had stood up for what was right, even when it cost him everything. He was a beacon of hope, a symbol of the strength and courage that ran in his blood, a truth that had been buried for far too long. It was a secret that had been hidden away, locked in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. The journey to uncover the truth was long and arduous, filled with obstacles and challenges. But he was determined, driven by a need to know, to understand. His anger burned, a raging fire that threatened to consume him. The injustice of it all, the years of lies and deceit, fueled a fire within him. It was a fire that burned bright, a fire that demanded justice, that demanded the truth be known, but it was also a fire that threatened to destroy him, to consume him if he let it. But his mother's love, her unwavering faith in him, kept him grounded. Her love was a constant, a steady presence that kept him from being consumed by his anger. It was her love that reminded him of who he was, of the strength and resilience that ran in his blood. It was her love that gave him the courage to face the truth, to confront the darkness, and to find the light. Section 8. The Confrontation. He confronted the people who had stolen his life, his so-called parents. The room was thick with tension, every word he spoke slicing through the air like a knife. Their faces, once filled with feigned love, contorted in fear as the mask of deception finally slipped. The years of lies and deceit were now laid bare, and there was no escaping the truth. He saw the guilt, the shame, the desperation in their eyes. It was as if their souls were laid bare, revealing the true nature of their actions. But it did nothing to quell the storm raging within him. His heart pounded with a mix of anger and betrayal, emotions he had kept bottled up for far too long. They had taken everything from him, his childhood, his dreams, his sense of self. Every memory he had was tainted by their lies. He spoke with the quiet authority of a man who had faced his demons and emerged stronger. His voice was steady, each word a testament to his resolve. "You will pay for what you have done," he vowed, his voice unwavering. Justice would be served. He was no longer the helpless child they had manipulated. He was a force to be reckoned with. He would make sure of it. As he walked away, he felt a sense of liberation. The chains of his past were broken, and he was free to forge his own destiny. Section 9. Redemption. The road to healing was long and arduous, but with each passing day the pain lessened, replaced by a sense of peace he had never known. He had found his truth. He had reclaimed his life, and in doing so he had found forgiveness. Forgiveness for those who had wronged him, and most importantly, forgiveness for himself. He realized that forgiveness wasn't about condoning their actions. It was about releasing himself from the chains of the past. It was about choosing to move forward, carrying the lessons he had learned with him. He was free. Section 10. A New Dawn. As the first light broke over the horizon, it signaled not just the start of a new day, but the beginning of a new chapter in his life. He stood on the precipice of a new beginning, feeling the cool breeze against his face, the vast expanse of possibilities stretching out before him. The world shimmered with a vibrancy he had never before witnessed. Colours were richer, as if painted with a more vivid palette. Sounds were clearer, each note of bird song and rustle of leaves resonating deeply within him. Life was beautiful, a tapestry of experiences waiting to be woven. He had found his place in the world, a sense of belonging that had eluded him for so long. The smile on his face was not just one of contentment, but of profound realization. A world filled with both darkness and light, where every shadow was balanced by a beam of sunlight. He understood now that life was a blend of contrasts, each moment a mix of joy and sorrow, hope and despair. He knew now that it was up to him to choose which path he would follow. The crossroads before him were not just physical, but symbolic of the choices he would make in his journey ahead. He looked to the horizon, the rising sun painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson. Each sunrise was a promise, a reminder that every day was a chance to start anew. A new dawn was breaking, casting its warm glow over the mountains and valleys, illuminating the path ahead with hope and possibility, and he was ready to meet it. With a heart full of courage and a spirit unbroken, he took his first step forward, embracing the unknown with open arms. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, he whispered, a newfound wisdom in his voice. It was a mantra he would carry with him, a beacon in times of darkness, and no good thing ever dies. Just as the eternal flame burns bright and the flower blooms in the sunlight, so too would his hope and determination endure, guiding him through the days to come.